Remember the good old days when a director actually had to make a couple movies before they could make a great one? My, how times have changed. Eighth Grade is the directorial debut of Bo Burnham, a movie about a girl in eighth grade played by Elsie Fisher and just the trials and times of what it's like to be an eighth grade girl growing up in the year 2018. Bo Burnham, a stand up comedian before this, but hey, why not make a movie and make it amazing? Let's check out 5 things you might want to know about eighth grade. This movie is so good. I've already said it a couple times, but it's incredible what these directors are doing their first time out with these films. Bo Burnham is such a handle on filmmaking already. I think of Greta Gerwig making Lady Bird, which, by the way, is a similar movie about high school last year. And I think of Jordan Peele making Get Out. And I think what it is directors now just have so much opportunity to have tools that you had to earn in the past. And now you've got ways to take great shots, to practice things, to see what things look like. Plus, you're growing up in a culture where it's just kind of second nature to understand the art of capturing video and making movies. And I think we're going to continue to see more and more first-time movies be absolutely incredible, like this one is. He just knows exactly which right shots to use. The pacing of this movie is wonderful, and that's all on him. He makes some music choices here that are pure adrenalic genius. Not even a word, but it's what I wanted to say. I love what he's doing here on a technical level, and it's really impressive for a first-time director. Plus, this cast, oh my goodness, Elsie Fisher is a revelation here. There's this beauty to the way that she's playing this performance where all of that shine and polish that so many of these kid actors just naturally have is edged right off, and you feel like this is an eighth grade girl going through the trials of eighth grade. She's so good at it. And what she's doing, and Bo Burnham has talked about this, is she is a shy person trying to pretend to be confident instead of a confident person trying to pretend to be shy for the camera. And it makes such a big difference here. I believed everything about her part. And I should mention the kids around her are amazing too. I actually really like the dad in this. There's just a lot of great casting going on here, but she leads the way and anchors this movie in an authenticity that gives it the power that it has. Another thing I love about this movie, I think eighth grade is the perfect place to set this movie. I mentioned Lady Bird, which takes place in high school. There's something about high school movies that's just a little beyond this stuff. For a movie like this, it's going to talk about existing in a world where the internet is king, where you have access to all this stuff, where you're trying to navigate not only adolescence and puberty and all that kind of thing, but also this world around you that is constant and unrelenting. I think eighth grade is the perfect moment for that, which is why eighth grade is the perfect title for it, because it just encapsulates something in this era, in this generation, that I don't think any other grade can do. And that's why these kids feel so authentic, because they actually are eighth graders, are all right around there. And I love that. I love the idea that this movie is saying this is a place in time that is dynamic and that is essential for understanding what it means to be a human being growing up in this world. The movie is perfect for that. I also think the movie has incredible things to say. There's a real depth here, situations that you wouldn't necessarily expect. It is rated R because they chose to make this a realistic look into what eighth graders have to deal with. Having said that, I think there's benefit here for kids, eighth grade and up possibly, to understand how to interact with those things. I felt it was honest without being judgmental. I felt like it was a way to look at how difficult those things are. There's a depth in some of these parental child scenes that is engaging in a way you don't often see. I was so impressed with what this movie had to say and the way that it said it, that I think this is something that could be informational and educational for every age. Man, this is such a well-made film. If it does falter or stumble at all, it may be a bit over the top just in little bitty moments. There is a little bit of silliness that creeps in, almost parody. The movie turns to parody just for a couple seconds here or there where I'm like, okay, maybe Bo Burnham is trying to get a laugh here, and it may be going beyond the authenticity a little bit more than I like. However, I that stuff is so easy to ignore because the movie finds its footing so quickly after those brief moments that this would just be a yellow for me. Just be aware that it does kind of stray there every once in a while. Overall, though, I think Eighth Grade is a brilliant film, one of the best of the year, essential watching, if you will, and way to go, Bo Burnham. I give it an A minus. Thanks for checking out this Your Movie Friend review. We'll get to the best ever challenge here in a bit. Before we do, I would love to hang out and talk movies with you. I love that conversation. For me, it happens mostly on Twitter. So if you're on Twitter, give me a follow. Aaron Dicer, AARONDICER. Also happens on the podcast. If you do the podcast thing, you certainly do that. It's SiftPop, SiftPop podcast. So whatever your podcast player is, just search for SiftPop. You should find it there. It's a weekly pop culture podcast. Have a lot of fun doing that. Also here at YouTube, hit up the comments, subscribe, please. Hit the little bell, the little alert bell if you want to know when every single review comes out. If you hit that little bell, you'll for sure get a notification when new reviews come out. So go ahead and do that. And thanks for hanging out at YouTube. Thanks for the support financially. Incredible. Couple more supporters this week. It's very humbling and mind-blowing. Thanks for doing that. We have a great conversation monthly with the supporters. Just kind of a private Skype chat. And that's one of my favorite times of the month to hang out with people who believe in this so much that they throw a couple bucks every month. Thank you for doing that. It's at Patreon, patreon.com/yourmoviefriend. All right, on to the best ever challenge. This is where you name the best movie ever in a particular category. Also try to identify my choice. Let's go with best ever movies about the age of middle school. So like best ever middle school movies. Now, this is, feel free to stretch this one if you want. I'm kind of stretching it a little bit for mine. It's a little bit of a cheat. It's not necessarily about being in middle school, but it's definitely about the emotions of a girl who is that age. So take a guess at mine in the comments. First person to get it right does get a point. As always, here's a few extra seconds to hit subscribe. Just click my face.